Welcome to this video on systems thinking. Systems thinking was covered in several exams in the engineering management course, so I wanted to have this video on this topic in particular. So the question that repeated was asking about the systems thinking, and in particular the term metanoia, which is also known as the shift of mind. So to understand the system thinking, we will cover the concepts covered by Peter Singh, which was one of the senior lecturers in MIT, and his book, The Fifth Discipline. In this book, Peter Singh highlighted the main disciplines that an organization should have to achieve continuous improvement, and in other words, be a learning organization, which is an organization that learns from experience and gets better even when mistakes happen. It learns and then improves. So how this happens? By having 5 disciplines. The first is personal mastery. An organization learns through its people. So the first step for an organization to improve is by improving the individuals in it. Second, mental models. Positive, accurate views of the organization and its direction must become ingrained in order for it to be successful. Third, shared vision. The employees need to understand and agree on what does the organization want to create, so they uphold the same values and accordingly achieve it together. Fourth, team learning. Organizations' intelligence is directly related to its members' ability to act in harmony. The fifth discipline is systems thinking. So what is systems thinking? To understand a system, like an organization, you must study the whole system and the connections between its parts, rather than optimizing individual components in isolation. Metanoia is a Greek word, a Greek term that Peter Singh used to refer to shift of mind, by focusing on the entire system rather than working on the improvement of individual departments or specific teams. In his book, The Fifth Discipline, Peter Singh covered some of the disabilities that could prevent an organization from becoming a learning organization. These are the following. I am my position. Simply put, each individual focus on their own department's responsibilities and priorities, rather than looking at the greater good for the organization. Working in silos and everyone is just trying to achieve their own agenda. Second, the enemy is out there. The assumption is that there is always someone to blame. It's always someone's fault. Third, the illusion of taking charge. You assume action must be taken even if it is not the case. Before acting, it's important to first see the problem systematically and then decide whether or not an action needs to be taken. Next, the fixation on events, rather than looking at the trend and the systematic issues. Next, the parable of boiled frog. Problems usually get worse gradually. On the other side, what we do is that we usually react to big changes, but we fail to see the small regular changes that goes in the wrong direction. Next, the delusion of learning from experience. When an action is taken or a decision is made, the results could appear long time after, even years after. So if we don't link the results to the actions that created them, we will fail to learn from that experience. Next, the myth of the management team. Management teams are used mostly to solve routine problems They tend to focus on compliance rather than focusing on problems in the current system. Next, disabilities and disciplines. This is failure to see the effect of policies. Okay, next, the laws of the fifth discipline. First, today's problems come from yesterday's solution. Imagine a retailer that faces an issue with the finances, so they cut back inventory to lower cost. The result is customers get upset because they cannot get the products on time. The result is these customers leave the, the leave the business and go to the competitors. So today's problems sometimes come from the solutions that we have taken before. Next, the harder you push, the harder the system pushes back. Low income housing and job training for inner city inhabitants attract more people to the city. Additional resources are now required but not available to serve the enlarged population, so the program fails to meet goals. Next, behavior grows better before it grows worse. When sales are down, for example, some companies cut back on research and development. The result is less innovation and less production of new products, accordingly losing market share. Next, the easy way out usually leads back in. We use familiar solutions, what we know best, regardless of the nature of the problem or the system in which it exists. Next, the cure can be worse than the disease. Relief agencies help a host institution only to leave the system fundamentally weaker than before. Do we give people food or teach them how to produce food? The sixth rule is faster is slower and also slower is faster. Every system has an optimal rate of change. Trying to go faster drains resources and has little impact. It takes long time, even years, to achieve an improvement in an organization. Most senior leadership cannot wait that long, or they don't last that long. The seventh law is cause and effect are not closely related in time and space. The effects of many actions may not be immediately detectable. Eighth law is small changes can produce big results, but the areas of highest leverage are usually the least obvious. So the important thing here is that small, well-focused actions can produce significant, enduring improvements. Next, you can have your cake and eat it too, but not at once. You can have a product that is low cost and high quality, but time and effort are required. You need to invest in improving design, reducing scrap to be able to get a better quality, low cost product. The 10th law is dividing an elephant in half does not produce two small elephants. All of the organization is needed. To improve it, you need to address the entire organization rather than the small individual components. The last law is there is no one to blame. Most systems problems are internal. The cure lies in assessing and acting on the relationships among the system's internal part and the interrelationships between them. And that ends our video today. Thanks for watching.